The Award of Honor is the highest award Leading Age bestows. It is presented to an individual who has made exceptional contributions to the field and who has significantly impacted other organizations to advance the common good. Let's learn more about this year's winner.
Daniel Reingold has devoted his 37-year career to advancing the mission of the Hebrew Home at Riverdale and Leading Age. Through creativity, resourcefulness, and passion, Dan uses his skills to change the way older adults are cared for. Programs developed under his leadership win awards and are shared and replicated nationally. Dan is an effective advocate in advancing legislation, regulations, and policies at every level of government to improve care, services, and benefits to Leading Age members and the thousands of people we serve. Dan has served with distinction on the boards of Leading Age New York, the Greater New York Hospital Association, and Live On New York. He is past chair of the Continuing Care Leadership Coalition and current chair of the Association of Jewish Aging Services. Under Dan's leadership, the Hebrew Home has evolved from a long-term care organization to a healthcare system that cares for 18,000 elders, from independent living to end of life. Navigating the complexity of entitlement and care options can be challenging for residents and families, but Dan has built a model that successfully guides seniors through the maze that healthcare has become.
Dan now shares this prestigious accolade with his father, Jacob, who won the award in 1975. Ahead of his time, much like his son, Jacob Reingold, created an environment that fostered respect, humility, and the highest level of quality care. Ladies and gentlemen, Leading Age is proud to present the 2018 Award of Honor to Dan Reingold.
Thank you, Leading Age, for this incredible recognition. The greatest honor is that which is bestowed by one's peers. I am deeply grateful to each of you, and I humbly stand on the shoulders of those who came before me in receiving the Award of Honor. Last night, my family and I were out at this great historic bar in Philadelphia, McGillin's. By the way, before I continue, I want to give a big thank you to my beautiful wife, Abby, and who has given me the freedom Abby has given me the freedom to do the work I love. And to my three extraordinary daughters, Sarah, Rachel, and Rebecca, they are my cheerleaders and my compass. They lift me up when I'm down, and they keep my ego in check when necessary, which is frequent. Anyway, I was heading out of the bar last night at McGillin's, and I saw a sign. Some of you may have seen it. It said, "Lost dog." 3 legs, blind in one eye, missing a left ear, broken tail, recently castrated. Answers to the name of Lucky. In our field, you probably know how Lucky feels. I know I do. Last week, we had 8 Department of Health inspectors doing their annual survey. A resident called me up to complain that our cabbage soup wasn't salty enough. The union was picketing in front of my office. Brand new renovation we just completed had major leaks in it. And one of my biggest donors called to tell me that his mother, who's one of our residents, was constipated. Yet I felt lucky. Lucky to work with an incredible team of people, a diverse team of people, who, despite all the challenges we face, always think about the innovative ideas that have resulted in a community of care for the 18,000 older adults that we serve every day. Lucky to have a diligent and engaged board of trustees who support our creativity and the notion of what if? Lucky to have a board chair, Jeff Moorer, whose great-grandparents, and you see a photograph of them, were among the founders of the Hebrew Home 100 years ago, and who encourages our team to run with ideas, to challenge the status quo, and who he himself comes up with some great ideas that challenges us to implement. And like each of you in this room, I am lucky to work with older adults on hallowed ground, as Larry Minix describes in his powerful new book by that same name. These older adults inspire me. They resist the stereotypes that come with age, and they redefine what it means to grow older. Like Ruth. Ruth, at 100 years old, was dependent on opiates to deal with the pain of her neuropathy. Her situation prompted us to develop a medical cannabis program, the first in the United States, and now Ruth, at 100 years of age, is using medical cannabis to eliminate the need for her opiates. Or Beverly. Beverly lost her beloved husband decades ago, and she never remarried. Yet Beverly was open to love at the age of 86. Beverly reminded us of why our policy of encouraging safe and consensual sexuality and intimacy are a resident right, not a forgotten dream. I'm lucky to know Rashad, one of our Hope students. Rashad is in our high school, and by creating an alternative high school housed within the Hebrew Home, we provide entry-level job skills for young people on the spectrum who may not be diploma-bound. And take a look at Eleanor, still kicking it up at the Hebrew Home in our dance therapy program, just like she did when she performed on Broadway in How to Succeed in Business back in the 1960s. Ladies and gentlemen, I am lucky to know Eleanor, who is not defined by a diagnosis or age, but has embraced all that life has thrown at her and is still a leading lady. And Mrs. S., who came to our Weinberg Center for Elder Justice, the nation's first elder abuse shelter, seeking refuge from her drug-addicted grandchild who had taken over her home and financially and physically abused her. Mrs. S. found safety, security, and community at the Weinberg Center, which is sponsored and housed within the Hebrew Home. You may be surprised to know that 2 million older adults in our country face elder abuse in their own homes. In our short-term rehabilitation program, and probably yours as well, 1 in 10 admissions are victims of elder abuse. This abuse is rarely identified in the systems that older adults routinely pass through. Elder abuse is a public health epidemic in our nation. I'm asking each of you to develop the services needed to address it. We will be glad to help you with that, as we have done with 20 Leading Age communities already. And I am particularly grateful to Leading Age President Katie Smith-Sloan and Chair-elect Carol Silver Elliott for their recognition that Leading Age as an organization, and each of you as members, are in a unique position to take a leadership role in combating the scourge of elder abuse. I'm so lucky to have had my father, Jacob Reingold, as a role model in the field of aging. In 1961, he created what is now Grandparents' Day. That was not Hallmark cards, ladies and gentlemen. It was a Leading Age member who created it. And our country now cherishes elders because of that holiday. He turned the Hebrew Home into a living art museum, established one of the first intergenerational programs, developed the first research center in a long-term care organization, designed and implemented the first wellness center, and the list goes on. He was a creative and innovative disruptor who changed the field of aging for generations to come. We need to do the same thing. He led the Hebrew Home for 40 years and started me and many others on this incredibly rewarding journey. Because of him, Leading Age, and before it, ASA, and before that, AHA, have been part of my life, and since I was 10 years old. Folks, this is a consequential moment for Leading Age. We have the opportunity to redefine aging as 78 million baby boomers are entering this new chapter of life, 10,000 of us every single day. It is a moment to recognize how lucky we are today and how imaginative we can be for tomorrow. Leading Age is a community of humanity, and we are lucky, truly lucky, to have one another. Thank you again for this deeply fulfilling recognition.